Hello everybody, happy Friday. I hope you're doing very well. And as on the end of Tuesday's video, I promised I was going to show you something very exciting. And here it is. No, I'm just messing with you. I won't scare you that way. Here it is. It's something that comes inside this parcel here. And it's shaped somewhat like a box, which can only mean one thing. Unless I bought it from Macron, and then it's just literally how they ship their sort of shirts. It is a boxed football shirt, and it's something that I've had in my possession since I think probably April, end of April, something to that effect. And here it is. I'm very, very pleased to finally get it open. So let's do that. I think I might need my comically undersized scissors to get into this, unless I just pull it. Oh no, yes. Let's just brute force it. There we go. So this one is something that I saw pop up for sale that I thought, well, do I really want to go for this? Because it technically breaks one of the rules of my collection. But you know what? I thought, let's just go for it. Let's go crazy. You ready for this? Ooh. Now then, how about that? I really hope this comes up quite nicely on the camera there. I think if I play against the light, it might sort of reflect what you see with regards to that design. Now then, a lot of that is in foreign language. I say a lot of it, all of it is, apart from the numbers. I like those numbers. How about that? That's pretty cool. Anything on the sides? So it looks like we have a little bit of the bottom. In fact, it looks like it runs round the side there. And on the rear of the shirt, oh, we've got some stuff there. So we have some player names going on there, like a team sheet. And at the bottom we have a club crest. Now, I'm sure some of you will be sitting home going, I know what that is. Well, let's have a look closely at the shirt. If it's anything like the box, it should be quite nice, you reckon? This is where the shirt falls onto the floor, isn't it? Trying to do this smartly, professionally. Nope, that's totally not happened. Right then. The big reveal. Ta-da! Right, we can set that aside for the moment. There we go. So the shirt is in there, and I feel like if I be careful... All right, okay. So that aside, we have... Okay, that's the box. Right, cool. We have ourselves a little pamphlet, it seems, which has more interesting words on there that I unfortunately won't be able to read until I get the Google Translate app out on. It seems like, from what I understand it to be, a little bit of a sort of little article about what this shirt specifically has been created for. So that's pretty cool. But we shall ignore that for the moment, because we are here for the shirt, aren't we? And here we are. Whoa, it's another black shirt. There's nothing going on there apart from on the top there, there's a little, is that some sort of chicken or something? Or a pigeon? It's a bird, it seems like. And then on the side we have, now that's pretty smart, isn't it? We've got some Bundesliga patches, second division ones, and they're all blacked out. Is that going to be something that we're going to see on the front? Well, it really depends on what the camera does, because you might not necessarily be able to see anything. What you'll see firstly is there is no sponsor. The reason for that is because the sponsors of the club themselves were gracious enough to not be included in this very special shirt. What you can see though is an exceptionally large crest. That is huge, that is. That's a massive crest, and you probably won't necessarily recognise this one unless you are, I don't know, 100 years old, which if you are, thank you for subscribing, because it's an older version of the crest there. What you have is what effectively is a continuation of the box design on the shirt. You have these player names running down the front, and then you have lots of other, I'm pretty sure, exciting words and letters to do with this particular shirt embossed into the design. So you have the patch there. On the sleeve you'll have nothing else. They do have a sleeve sponsor, but again they also fought against the fact that they're not on it. It is all tagged there, and you have, let me see, I'm pretty sure this was a special limited shirt. I'm not sure if there's somewhere on here that tells me what specific number it is. It actually does. This is number 428. So we haven't got the fated number 1 yet, but it is number 428. So I shall get the mannequin, and I'll come and explain to you who the team is if you haven't quite got it yet, and then a little bit why this shirt exists. Right, so then, so there is the shirt. I hope the camera and the lighting really shows how good this one looks in person, because it's actually a really, really smart shirt. But who is the team? It is Arminia Bielefeld from Germany. Of course it is. And this is their 2022-2023 Sondertrikot, their special edition shirt that was released towards the end of last season. I made this purchase from the club store and it cost me €82, roughly like that, which is about £71. So it's not a particularly cheap one, but I thought, you know what, you know how much I enjoy and appreciate a boxed shirt and a limited edition shirt at that. I thought I would go ahead and make that purchase there. Now, this actually isn't the first Arminia Bielefeld shirt I have in my collection. I picked up one from, I think it was Classic Football Shirts quite a few years ago now. That was the 2017-2018 home shirt by Joma. It's not a particularly bad shirt. It's actually quite a nice shirt, but when you compare it to the ones here, I think I'm definitely going to stick with the one that is boxed. This club was founded in 1905, so it's over 100 years old now, and of course come from the city of Bielefeld. Now, the upcoming season, they're going to find themselves playing in the 3rd division, and the reason for that is because, unfortunately, they were relegated from the 2nd division last season, hence the reason why I've got the 2nd division patch on the sleeve there. What's even more unfortunate for the fans in the club is the season prior to that, they got relegated from the Bundesliga, the top division. So quite clearly, recently, they've not been having a great time. One would hope, and fingers crossed for the fans, that they don't find themselves getting relegated for a 3rd consecutive season. You'd kind of hope not and think not, but this is football. Stranger things have happened. So yeah, not particularly great, this one. This shirt was released as a sort of promotional celebration, anniversary, shall we say, of the 1923 West German Championship that they won. Though on Wikipedia it does have like an asterisk next to it saying something like it's not an officially recognised one or something, which is interesting there, but they've won it and they played the game, so quite clearly it means a lot to this particular club now. Now, the shirt utilises the older crest, the one you can see here. I love an older crest. I really do like a throwback. I can't remember the last time Chelsea had an older crest on their shirts. I don't think we're going to have it on any of our ones that are going to get released this season. Which is a shame. I do like a little bit of a sort of a throwback to your roots and your history. Like I said, it's probably one that not many people are going to recognise unless you're an Arminia Bielefeld supporter. Similarly with the shirt design, of course, in the front here you have this list of players, which are the players that featured in that particular championship winning season. I suppose unless you are a fan of Arminia Bielefeld or a historian of German football, you probably aren't going to be too familiar with those. I, of course, certainly aren't. Other than that, you just got to sort of unboss details from that particular season. Of course, you've got the particular year that they won there, and possibly some other bits of details which are probably referenced in that booklet that I showed you there. It is a limited edition shirt. It's limited to 1,923 pieces of 1923. It kind of makes sense. And of course, I mentioned that mine is in the mid 400s, and that was also one of the reasons why I wanted to buy it, just because I am kind of drawn to those very limited pieces going forward. So this shirt was actually featured in a match. It was actually featured in a match that was 100 years direct after the final that they played. They played this one, wore this one in a match against Hanover. Unfortunately, they lost the game 3-1 against 10 men, but at least it was worn on a pitch. And there was quite an interesting story surrounding the actual final game. So they were playing against a team called Turu Düsseldorf, and they were 3-1 down at half time. And back then, I presume the supporters, the fans, the players, whoever it was, decided that they would send off a carrier pigeon with a message back to Düsseldorf, I suspect, saying that they were going to win the championship. So send off this pigeon flying. And then in the second half, quite clearly what's happened, Bielefeld were able to rally the troops and came back dramatically and wonderfully and won that match, which would have obviously led to them winning the league title. And then, of course, unfortunately, that pigeon was carrying a message that was no longer valid. That's quite an interesting one, that is. That's an interesting story, that is. I presume it mentions it somewhere in this little leaflet there, so it's quite funny. I've never actually heard of Turu Düsseldorf. Maybe they formed another team. Did they turn into Fortuna Düsseldorf at some point? I don't know. Maybe I'll have to Google that one. But there we go. So that one's an interesting one there. As for the upcoming season, so the one that's 23-24, they are with Macron, as you can see. Clearly, they've been with him for quite a while now, and I don't know if it's because they're now in the 3rd division. They've got a little bit lazy, shall we say, with the shirts. In fact, possibly the laziest I've seen. If there is a fan out there that likes the home shirt, they'll be very happy because it's the exact same as the away shirt. and the third shirt, just different colours. And if you don't like that home shirt, well, unfortunately, you're going to have to stick with it because you've got just the same for the away and the third. I think that's a bit boring. I think I don't mind. Sometimes you see it where they have a home and away, which is a shame, and then they have a third, which is a little bit different. It doesn't even have to be wildly crazy. It just has to be slightly different. Otherwise, I kind of see what is the point. I mean, it's not often that a shirt is so good that you have to have 3 of it. But I mean, Bielefeld have decided that that's what they're going to do, though I suppose it's probably cheaper to do so. All you have to do is just change the material colour you use. But there we go. It's an interesting one, isn't it? I purchased this one. It sold out relatively quickly, as you would expect. There's not many pieces released. I know there's a viewer who also bought one of these. In fact, I bought it, and then he sent me a message pointing out to me saying, hey, look what I found. And I'm like, I'm way ahead of you on that one, my friend. And it arrived. It took a while to arrive. Sometimes when you shop from Europe, it either arrives really quickly or it just takes its time. This one took its time a little bit, maybe because it was in a box. I think possibly that's what added to it. But here we go. So that's another box shirt to add to my collection. I've got a nice little display array that I'm slowly building up. I do have one more to open and show you though, so I'll do that at some point, which could mean anything between now and the next, well, Christmas, I suppose. So there we go. Anybody else? What are your thoughts on this one? It's interesting. It's sometimes, I think, would I have wanted to buy it if it had a sponsor on? Well, I suppose I've had no choice, would if it would have been there, but it probably obviously would have taken away from it. It's quite nice, and it was actually worn in a game, so I suppose it's not just a shirt for a shirt's sake. So there we go. It's pretty cool. Well, it's not a decent week. We've had a new country, and we've got quite a special shirt there. So next week, what shall we do? I've got quite a few to open. I don't know. I won't say anything specifically what it's going to be, but regardless, it'll be something cool and interesting. As always, thank you for watching my videos. I hope you have a great weekend ahead, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.